let's talk a little fluff. I'm not saying that this doesn't have large implications, but compared to everything else that's going on in this country, this is kind of small ball, but it is entertaining. A couple of days ago, Katy, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Katy Perry and Gayle King and Jeff Bezos's silicone-infused wife took a space flight into the lower atmosphere. Katy Perry sings a song, I guess this is her flight song, but whatever. Gayle King, they're already defending this, because people are starting to give them some shit. There's the climate people that are like, that one 11-minute space flight burned more fuel and more carbon than Taylor Swift's entire Eras tour. Just that one 11-minute flight. So it ain't about, taking care of the climate. And Katy Perry has got videos out from years ago where she's talking about, all the private planes of wealthy people and how it's detrimental to, our climate. And now she's, now her star is not on the rise anymore. I mean, personally, she's nowhere near as talented. And look, I'm Taylor Swift, not really a fan. I don't really like her songs that much, but she does write her own shit. Katy Perry didn't even write her own goddamn tunes, man. She kissed the girl and she liked it. Congrats, man. I kissed a girl. It was all right. What the fuck, man? I didn't write a goddamn song about it. Bubblegum bullshit. But look, I digress. So they go up in their space flight and, Katy Perry sings a song while they're, in space for all of like 45 seconds before they start coming down to Earth. And she's up, they interview her afterwards. She comes out and she goes and kisses the ground like she's been locked in space for the last 6 months, not knowing if she was going to live or not, and she's like, oh God, I'm looking at it and I had an emotional experience looking at that little blue planet that we live on. Meanwhile, this whole thing is just a propaganda band-aid to put on Jeff Bezos and Amazon, who are doing more damage to the climate than anybody. Amazon is probably one of the biggest climate disaster creators in our country right now, with all of the next day delivery bullshit and of course, don't even get me started on how they treat their workforce. But Amazon is, look, we're sending people to space. This right here is basically a roller coaster for rich people. You're regular common folk. You ain't never going to space. You ain't got that kind of money. And Gayle King's like, well, the more people we send, the cheaper it's going to get. Well, it ain't going to get cheaper than a couple of $100,000 to do this. Yeah, man, I got a couple of $100,000 in my couch cushion. Let me pull that out so I can go get, 2 minutes worth of space. They are literally trying to monopolize the lower atmosphere. This is not for space travel. This is not for any kind of scientific, technical innovation. Oh yeah, they had a couple of scientists on there. But using Katy Perry and Gayle King is just celebrity washing of just this capitalistic fuck. By the way, a report just came out recently that over the last 10 years, under Donald Trump's tax cuts, that he put in 2017, the richest tech billionaires, that's Bezos and Zuckerberg and Musk and the dude from Google, which I can never remember his name, those guys avoided $278 billion in taxes over the last 10 years. And they're going to get a bigger tax cut this year. And all it cost those guys was, a couple of $100 million to bribe Donald Trump for his election. So between Bezos and Musk and Zuckerberg and the Google dude and the handful of other tech bro billionaires, they donated probably $500 million to him for his presidential campaign, and they so far, they saved $278 billion in taxes. Meanwhile, in that same 10-year period, they've earned $11 trillion. $2.5 trillion. That's with a T. That's just sheer profit. So bribing a politician, it works. You bribe a politician, they deregulate, they cut taxes, and you make out like a fucking bandit, which is why all wealthy billionaire 0.1% oligarch types always go fascist. They always go to the right. Because that's where their tax cuts is. That's where their deregulations lie. They know that. Between them and Bernie, they would never go Bernie. Bernie's like, we're going to have to raise your taxes. You're paying way too little. There's too much income inequality. They would never vote for Bernie Sanders. They'd never vote for anybody on the left because they know where the money is. They know where they're going to get their tax cuts from. And it's people like Donald Trump. So watching Katy Perry come back here, and honestly, she looked like she ate some mushrooms while she was up there. But whatever. She's a silly little pop star. They got to go into outer space because she's rich, and they wanted somebody to whitewash this, this ridiculous display of, hey, I've got way too much money because I don't pay any taxes, so I've got to spend money on going to fucking space. They're rubbing it in our face. God damn, man, I won't pay my employees anything more than $15 an hour, which you can't live on in this country. But meanwhile, I've got so much cash, I got to go to space, man. Innovation. You ain't innovating shit, man. You ain't done nothing that NASA ain't done. Meanwhile, NASA's budget is getting slashed to the bone by Elon Musk. He's reallocating those funds right into, his little space vanity project. We ain't never going to fucking Mars, man. There's one planet. It's called Earth. Live on it. Try to fix the fucking problems here. You want to go to fucking space and live out there? Honestly, I don't really care if they go to space. What I care about is that they came back. But Gayle King started getting a little bit of shit about it, and she does a little interview, and she goes, well, I think, that you people don't understand the kind of scientific research that's going up. Yeah, man, scientific research in an 11-minute flight to lower orbit and back down for some celebrities. I'm sure there's some science thing going on there. There's some equation math shit going on there. And she was a little upset. She goes, they said that we took a ride. When men, playing a little identity politics, when men go up in there, they said that, they flew a space flight. But when we do it, they said we took a ride. Don't be playing that woman card with me. You didn't do shit, honey. You sat in a seat, you buckled in, you went up, and you came back down. Congratulations. Wow. Oh, and by the way, this is a cute one. I looked online at how many women astronauts we have. And you're able to scroll down to the bottom on Wikipedia. Scroll down to the bottom, it's 110 women. But here's the thing. One of them was Jeff Bezos' wife, who just took a space flight. So they updated the wiki page on women astronauts and included Jeff Bezos' fucking, silicone sister ass. That woman ain't no goddamn astronaut. She just took a goddamn ride in a, I don't know, what do we call it? A a special Uber ride, an Uber for the wealthy. I mean, goddamn, we're living in satire. You watch the White Lotus, and I'm like, that shit doesn't, it doesn't even compare to the actual reality that we're living in. It's insane. One other thing Gayle King said, which just shows you how goddamn out of touch these people are. She goes, well, have you been to space? You can't criticize me. You haven't even been to space yet. Yeah, that's the fucking point, honey. We can't afford to go to space. We're not rich. We're not famous. We don't know anybody. We're not getting on this goddamn flight to go up into space. Goddamn it, I don't want to go to space. There ain't no hateration going on here. There ain't no haterade. I am not jealous at all. I do not want to go to space. I don't even like getting on a fucking plane, man. Much less taking some risky thing on some rich billionaire's, vanity project to go into space. Remember what happened, a couple of years ago with those people that got into a submarine to go down and look at the Titanic, and that shit went blew up, and they're all dead now because they thought, oh, this is a rich guy. He's smart. He's innovative. He says that we can do it. Let's just do it. Let's pony up $500,000 and take a submarine trip down to see the Titanic and fucking die. I don't like to see anybody die, but at the same time, I didn't have a whole lot of pity in my heart, and there wasn't a lot of tears in my eyes welling up for those people. And I'm sure as shit not weeping over Gayle King's hurt feelings. Have you been to space? Bitch! Fuck off! You spoiled, rotten little fuck shit. God damn, I am so sick and tired of wealthy, entitled assholes scolding the common folk on what we should or should not criticize. Woman, you did something dumb. You wanted to see space? Well, congratulations, you got to see it. Now, enjoy that fucking backlash. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.